Welcome to Two Millennials and Mom, where we bring you engaging conversations and respectful disagreement across the social spectrum.
Injected with the quirks of everyday life.
Curl up as we navigate the complexities of this modern world with all the humor and warmth we can muster.
And the occasional gentle ribbing. We're glad you're here. Happy listening.
Hello, hello. Today we are bending the space-time continuum. Sort of. From the collective fog of the pandemic to our scroll-addled brains, we're unpacking why time feels so warped lately. Why does January feel like it was 12 years ago? But we still haven't actually processed 2020. We're diving into time blindness, memory gaps, burnout loops, and the strange ways that modern life is messing with our perception of time. Welcome to Two Millennials and Mom. I'm Callie.
I'm Cole.
And I'm Mom.
How are y'all today?
Good.
Doing all right. You?
I mean, I'm great, other than I feel like we were just here. I kid.
My grandfather used to always say that the older you get, the faster time goes.
I mean, I think that that's so true.
I was laughing at somebody this week because they were like, I don't remember what day it is.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, we have a great big huge calendar to tell us what day it is. And we forget to even look at the calendar to go, oh, it's really Wednesday. And of course, I live with two people who, don't have normal schedules. So every day is a Saturday for your dad because he's retired. And then Cole's Fridays are his Thursdays.
Well, no, Thursday is my Friday.
Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
So the point being that nobody has a regular schedule around here except moi.
I have to look pretty constantly to figure out what day it is.
So I think it's just a weird thing with time anyway.
Yeah. Time in and of itself is a really strange concept.
I agree.
It's hard to me, it's kind of a hard one to grasp mentally. I have a theory that we can talk about later as to why it feels like time goes by so much faster. But we'll touch on that here in a little bit. So Gig, talk to me about time blindness. What is time blindness?
I was going to say, are either of you aware of this? I didn't know that this was a thing.
No.
So time blindness is a condition where individuals have struggle to perceive and manage time accurately. And that could manifest in a couple of different ways. It could be, I have a difficult time estimating how long it's going to take or how long it has been. And that could be just something as simple as, hey, I'm going to go mow the yard. It's going to take me 30 minutes. And an hour and a half later, you're like, what the heck? I thought it was only going to take 30 minutes. And you're just not very good at it. It could also manifest in losing track of time. Oh, we're just hanging. Oh my gosh, I completely missed my meeting or my show or whatever it may be. We have no idea. There's chronic lateness that is a big thing for folks who time blindness impacts. And then poor time sequencing. They have a difficulty ordering events and remembering the sequence of events or tasks. And that could be in your brain or in your actual physical life doing something. Okay, I'm going to put on my shoes and then tie them. Oh, shoot, I just tied them first. And so it could manifest in a couple of different ways. But I just thought that was so fascinating. Now, most of the time, this whole concept of time blindness impacts and affects people who have ADD or ADHD. It also has a big impact on people who are suffering from burnout, who they've just given everything that they have and they don't have any more to give to time. It also impacts folks who are depressed and struggling with depression and people who are constantly overscheduling themselves, busy bees, always on the run, going. Oh, I forgot about this. Oh, da. And so it tends to impact those folks most. So one of the interesting things that I thought was really fun to kind of dive into is some of the signs of folks who might be suffering from time blindness. You are losing hours and hours of your life to doom scrolling.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yep, we've all been there. You are chronically late, but not lazy. You're not intending to be late. It just, time got away from you. I have to
Yeah,
say,
no, normally when I'm late, it's intentional.
I used to be that way, especially when I was commuting into work every day. It's like, oh, my commute's only going to take 15 minutes. And it was always 22. And you're like, Kelly, how did you get this wrong? Every single day. And then, like I said, people who have a hard time estimating how long things take. I personally think that Ryan is a time blindness sufferer because he's like, this is going to take 2 weeks. Let's do this project. It's going to take 2 weeks. We're going to knock it out in an afternoon. And 6 months later, we're celebrating that it is finally finished.
Yeah. You know, it's weird because I kind of struggle on both ends of that sometimes.
Sure.
Like, don't get me wrong, I'm definitely guilty of like doom scrolling or losing myself in a game for a while. Like, it's pretty regular for me to like, I'm going to stop playing at 2:00, and then I get to a stopping point and I look and it's 3:15 and I'm like, well, crap. Yeah. But the misjudging how long it's going to take something, like I am almost always like way too short or way too long. Very rarely am I like just right. Like I had a project that I was working on this week and I had messaged my boss and I was like, hey, can I pencil in like 30 to 45 minutes on my schedule to get this knocked out? She said, yeah. And she put it on there for us so that it wasn't going to be a big deal. It gave me a whole hour. And I was still kind of working on it between calls before that hour. And then I had just like a complete lull in my day. And like, it'll take me 15 to 25 minutes to write an email to like another group about like one issue. And I was, in this case, writing up a report on like 4 different issues. And while I was doing other work, got that same project done in like 15 minutes when I thought it was going to take me an hour. But then I'll say, hey, can I get an hour to do something that I think is only going to take me 25 to 30 minutes, and it takes me an hour and a half? It's just super weird how it works like that sometimes.
Why do you think that is?
No clue.
He suffers from time blindness.
I mean, you know,
I think sometimes that maybe I have to do more research than I thought, and sometimes I have to do less research than I thought.
I think for me, you talked about writing an email, and sometimes it's trying to get my brain to go through that all and go through those processes that I think takes longer, because in my head I know what I'm going to say, but trying to get it to where I can communicate to somebody else takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Going through and editing it, making sure that, hey, this is very pertinent and important that you understand this, but I'm also trying to be professional.
Yeah. I don't know, Cal, you were going through all of those and I thought, oh yeah. But I wouldn't tell you that I was time blind.
Well, talk to your
never heard that
doctors and
term.
ask them about taking this medication with all of these horrible side effects that are probably worse than the cause itself. I kid. Mine tends to be in the mornings. So Mom and I get up and go walk several mornings a week, and we have a set time. Remember, we're in different area codes and zip codes. And so we're hopping on the phone and we're both walking independently while we're chatting. And I'm always, I don't set an alarm. I'm always up before it's time to go. And so I'll grab my Kindle and sit there and read just one more page, just one more chapter, just one more little bit. And I am late almost every day, almost every time, to the point that one time I was exactly spot on time. And she was like, oh, that's really weird for you. And I was like, well, I'm trying here, Mom. And I haven't been on time since then. I mean, I think that in many ways we have all been guilty of or suffered from, we'll call it, time blindness, and having that impacts of time blindness on our daily lives. And I think that that's okay too.
You know, this is kind of weird. It's another kind of weird thought, but do you think it has anything to do with the sheer amount of information and data that our brains are having to process? Like, comparatively speaking, if you go back 50 years, there's so much less information that people had access to. There was so much less overstimulation from all of these different sources. Things just kind of seemed to be generally calmer on like a day-to-day scale.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm watching right now oh gosh, what's it called? Living in the 1880s. I can't remember what it is. It's the Magnolia Network show where it's a reality show set today, but they have taken all of these modern day families and put them in this situation where they're living off of the land and having to do things with only what was present in there in the 1880s. And all of these people are talking about like, we have our robot vacuums and I'm a career woman and all of these like totally normal to us things. And then they're having to go churn butter, or then they're having to go sow a field and set food aside for later in the winter. They're there. We have calculated it's like 2 months that they're living like this. And so don't get me wrong, there are cameras and all, obviously, but they're experiencing all of this and they are frustrated with how little time they have. We have to get up really early so that we can get all of this done and started so we can make this progress. We're exhausted, but it is not time to go to bed because we've got stuff to do. And so I think that Cole, they all have mentioned how they couldn't see how any of this would have been possible with all of the distractions that we experience today, which I think was really fascinating, like for me to sit down and contemplate. But how their efforts are focused in so many fewer places and they're still worn out. And I think some of that is practice, but I think some of it is just sheer overwhelm.
Yeah, I mean it's two, like, to me, like different, two opposite ends of a spectrum. Like, yeah, sowing a field is physically very demanding. And so you have to put your brain to focus on that, but it's just that one single task.
Yeah.
That's it. Whereas me sitting at my computer all day is not very physically demanding, but I am doing 5 or 6 different things at a time all of the time. And so it has a completely different impact on like my mental state and how my brain is operating and firing. I mean, it's still draining. Don't get me wrong. Like, just because you sit at a desk in an office doesn't necessarily mean that you have an easy job. My job is relatively easy, but it can be very
mentally exhausting.
Yeah. Mentally engaging, psychologically engaging, just because of how many different things you're juggling at one time trying to process all together.
Yeah.
I think you have the interruptions too today that we didn't have even 50 years ago. And some
even
of those
15 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, your phone's going off over here, your iPhone's going off over here, your desk phone's going off over here, your Teams meeting is going in here. I mean, there's just so many different things. There's always a constant deal of email. And I mean, we have an entire industry of how, to time manage things. But I think we just have so many things coming at us at one time now.
Yeah, that we split our focus in so many different places that it becomes harder to manage. We have been swimming a lot lately, outside swimming in the pool, and normally we could stay up till wee hours of the morning, and now we're done by 9:00, 9:30 at night, and we go to sleep at a totally reasonable time, 9:30, 10 o'clock, and we are up by 6 o'clock in the morning, and we are ready to face the day, and then we go swim. And I swear, just being in the sun, we're not sitting here Michael Phelpsing anything. We're floating on floaties in the pool, and we are exhausted because I think that the sun takes a lot out of you.
I think it's the sun.
The sun takes a lot out of you. Floating
so hard.
It's actually pretty physically engaging.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not as physically engaging as swimming laps, but still, just putting your body in the right position to float. Now, it sounds like you guys are assisted, but still.
Well, we are. We've done several yard work projects outside this summer, And I mean, manual labor, which is fine, but not my strong suit, and certainly isn't Ryan's. I can't imagine how we got up on the roof at one point and he was like, I don't understand how people put roofs on houses, how those guys do this, how they're trucking these huge bags of shingles up, how they're working out in this, and they're always fully covered, their whole bodies with everything and with all their clothes. And you're just like, we've been up here for 5 minutes. We are literally dripping with sweat, absolutely blown away by their sheer manpower of it all.
I mean, some of that's just acclimation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Some of it's acclimation. Some of it's also gear. Like if you go and you actually look at the clothes those guys are wearing, a lot of the time, like denim jeans are denim jeans. Sorry, that part's going to be tough. But like there's so much technology in the clothing that we wear these days that make jobs like that
manageable,
more tolerable.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely an acclimation, a practice thing for sure.
Well, and you
but
tell
that's
him.
true in just about anything. Yeah. I work at a computer all day on a trading platform that is really, really complex. But because I do it all day, every day, I can show people how to do just about anything there. And they're like, man, you're really good at this. I don't know how you learned all of it. It's just practice. It's just repetition, being in there and doing it all day, every day. Eventually, you're going to get good at it.
So my next question kind of, Cole, how long have you been in that particular platform? How long have you been practicing that?
This platform I've been working in pretty much every day for almost 4 years.
Okay. I just think it's so fascinating because, again, it's really hard to kind of conceptualize, okay, you're going to start learning this and this is how long it's going to take. And now you feel like you're really good at it and other people recognize that in you. But at the same time, it's really hard to go into a newbie and be like, so you're going to be efficient in this in 4 years. You can't. That's overwhelming to our brains.
Yeah.
Time is a really, really mysterious mistress.
So let me see if I can remember this. And Mom, I don't remember if it was you and Dad that told me this or if it was my driving school instructor. But
you never know. It's a toss-up.
It's like I want to say it's like it takes 100 hours to really learn something. It takes 10,000 hours to really master something.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I'm sure that was my wisdom.
Take the credit.
If I take, we'll say 4 hours a day times 300 and it'd really be like 252 times 3.75. I'm only 4,000 hours in.
Yeah.
Not even.
Yeah. It's crazy. I'm telling you. And then I think that things have really, and maybe it's just that I'm getting older and I'll accept that, but I think that things have really changed. My perception of time has really changed working through the pandemic, going through all of that and watching how it has impacted not only me, but the people around me and just everything that we do consume around us. All of those independent touch points throughout the day, every single one of them has changed based on what their experience and lived experience through the pandemic is. I think it's so crazy. I mean, I did not watch Tiger King, but Colt, can you imagine that was 5 years ago?
It feels like a lot longer than that to me. Like,
yeah,
COVID feels like it was an eternity ago.
Yeah. And I think that, go ahead.
I've also gone through a lot of life changes during that time frame. Like I've been at my job right now for almost 4 years, and I've had 4 different jobs since COVID.
Yeah. And I think that especially throughout the lockdowns of the pandemic, you had the same day. You did the same thing every day. There wasn't all kinds of nuance and things for a lot of people.
I didn't participate in that.
I mean, which is probably really great, but also goes back to that feels like forever ago to you. I think you could sit here and talk to some people that it feels like it was just yesterday. I can't believe the pandemic was 5 years ago.
Well, you do that, but then we're still talking about it so much and we're still talking about the effects of it so much. So I do think that there's a warp there.
Absolutely.
A time warp there, in essence, because it just was different for most people.
Well, and the milestones were handled so differently. There weren't weddings. There weren't graduations. So did kids not age in your mind because they hadn't graduated from whatever grade? I mean, you couldn't go and even attend funerals for a lot of time, like several months at a time. And so I think that has tricked our brains into thinking, I'm not trying to say that those people are still alive, but have we fully accepted and grieved them the same way that we would have normally?
Right. I'm going to say this on the kids, though, and I don't think this has anything to do with COVID. I worked for a really long time with people, 25 years, and then went to a different job without most of those people. And today, if I reach out to one of them and they go, oh, yeah, my kid's graduating from college, in my head,
those
that
are toddlers.
12 years old. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean they're graduating from? And if you stop and you count the years, but that time just wasn't related to them. And so they're still there where I remember them being.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've talked about this. I think both of you and I have talked about this about, no, they can't. Gosh, that makes me feel so old because all of a sudden this kid that, you babysat or you watched or whatever, and now they're adults getting married.
And I'm just like, what is this? Some kind of child bride situation? They're 12. And you're like, Kelly, they're graduated from their med school. They're 30. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, I swear it was. I've talked to 2 friends in the last 2 weeks that are like, my daughter's starting kindergarten. And I'm like, what? We just had her 2nd birthday. What are you talking about?
That's not real.
Yeah.
Can't be true.
How are we this old already?
Yeah. But
that's another part of it. I mean, and not feeling your age.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really feel all that different now than I did when I was 25.
Yeah. 10, 15 years ago, I'm the same that I was today. And then when you start breaking it down, you're like, oh, except you've learned this and you've struggled through that and you experienced this. And that was a long time ago. When you really start putting numbers to it, I mean, the Y2K millennium, that was just a few years ago, y'all. Let's call it 10. No, Kelly, it was 25. Yeah. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, we're a quarter century away from that now.
Yeah, exactly.
That is so hard to believe. I mean, we were so present with all of that and getting, prepped for that and everything for 2 years at least in advance. And now we're 25 years past that.
Yeah. A decade sounds like forever. Like a decade, like mentally in my head is pretty big. It's like huge. We're 2.5 decades away from that.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm just going to own this right now. I'll take my licks for saying this, but those little Gen Z and Gen Alpha twerps that are sitting here talking about people who were born in the 1900s, you guys are jerks. Like, come on. Don't be mean.
I've gotten to where I caution y'all because you both do this. I mean, I met this old man and then you tell me his age, and I've gotten down to where as soon as y'all say old, I go, watch it.
Yeah.
Just watch it.
Yeah.
Because it's usually somebody right around my age.
But again, and maybe that goes back to kind of the millennial math problem. Like you've got girl math and man math and all of these things. Maybe the millennial math is what really is screwing us up. I don't look at you and think that you're old. I just don't. You have been 42 a long time. And that's just where my brain stopped counting.
What are you laughing at, dude?
Me?
Yes. Don't be laughing about that.
I was laughing at something on my computer.
Sure.
Nice try.
I'm going to tell y'all, I have had this conversation with myself because growing old has not been easy on me. I have fought every step of the way, I'm pretty sure. And the other day I just had this epiphany and I thought, you know what? You don't feel your age, screw it. You feel 37.
Yeah.
Just be 37.
Yeah.
And so, Cal, if I'm out walking with you and Cal and I are doing this new deal called Japanese walking, it's killing both of us.
Oh my
Where you
gosh.
power walk for 3
Okay.
minutes and then you walk regularly for 3 minutes. And it has knocked our time. I mean, we have improved our time incredibly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But I mean, they say if you're doing it right, it's really kind of hard when you can't really carry on a conversation if you're doing it right. So we're sitting there going, and I'm thinking, you're 30, you're 37. Just remember, you're 37. You're 37.
I love that. I mean, I also think, and Mom, I'm really curious as to your perspective here. I get the sense that it's every generation, but I definitely for sure believe that millennials have the best music. We grew up with the most fun, the most exciting, like the best music. We're laughing about, hey, I just found my summer mix that I burned my CD and it's awesome. Like it's a whole bunch of bangers and we're so excited. But I suspect that every generation feels that way about the music that they grew up in.
I think
I don't
there's
know.
something to that though, because every generation has a wider catalog to choose from.
True.
I started to say, I think your generation, you had CDs to rip and that was very common, playlists to make and download, that kind of thing. And so I think it made your music more widespread and...
Well, it made it customizable. Like never before could you customize it. Like unless you had the studio equipment to do it, you couldn't make your own CD. You couldn't make your own record.
You could make your own tape off of the radio, recording things like, oh, it just came on, press record.
Right, but you had much less fine control over it.
Yeah. Yes. Well, so the reason that I bring this up is because especially like club music and things like that is so much fun. And I saw a video on TikTok the other day. It's like, this is how you keep a millennial at a party. And the guy's walking to the door and then it will start in some beat. And you're like, oh, man, this is my jam. And you got to turn around and go back.
Yeah.
What was it? I got to know. What was it?
Apple bottom jeans.
See?
With the fur.
So it just starts rattling off. And it's 3 seconds of each of these songs of him like trying to leave. Oh, no, gotta stay. You gotta stay for that one. But there's another piece of it that is, it's a millennial mom who is showing her teenage children all of this music, these 2 teenage boys. And so she's sitting there. There was one of them that it was Fantasy by Ludacris. And these 2 boys, they've got to be 13 and 14, maybe something along those lines. And they're like, my God, Mom, you listen to this? And she's like, oh yeah. I mean, and she's sitting there like singing along to every single word. And they're like, Mom, this is gross. I can't believe you listen to this. And all of the other millennials, I can feel them. We have a community that we're all sitting on the other side of the screen, singing right along with her, having a grand old time. And these kids are just flabbergasted. It's so funny.
I do. I think y'all had a better access and an easier access. And that way it was a wider scope. I mean, think of all your little Walkmans and your, what was that little one, Callie, that
iPods.
Yeah, I mean, and think about it. Like you have a tape that you can record that is what? 30 minutes?
Per side. Yeah, total.
Yeah. So then you get a Mio or a Zune or the first iPod Shuffle and it can hold 5 or 10 gigabytes of music.
Hundreds
I mean, early
songs.
on it was like 528 megabytes. But
yeah,
I mean, at the time, music files aren't super huge. You could go and put 5 hours of music on there and never listen to the same song twice.
And then change it out next week.
Yeah.
I do feel like really quick we need to pour one out a little bit for all of the home computers that we lost due to viruses via LimeWire and Napster and things. Sorry about that. Thank you, families.
Yeah, we might have toasted a couple there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, and then you want to talk about nostalgia. We had a garage sale for Mom earlier this year where she just recently got rid of some of those computers.
He was very excited about those, by the way.
He was restoring them. But I mean, again, I think that our music was better than everybody else's, and I still stand by that. It's one of my favorite parts of TikTok is all of these people who were like, oh no, this is a millennial banger. Let's party.
Okay, so like, what are some examples of that though?
Millennial bangers?
Like what's millennial music?
I mean, I feel like that includes anything Yin Yang Twins or Lil Wayne or Kelly Clarkson in her early days, like all those kinds of things. Mom and I were just talking yesterday. Neither of us are super big Kelly Clarkson fans, but if Since You've Been Gone comes on, I can't not sing along. I don't even love that song, and I still can't not sing along. I mean, there are so many really incredible ones that I just can't even get over. It is my favorite part of TikTok. I'll have to find the video of the one, Cole, I got to do it. I just recently saw it. And I'll cut it out, but it just was so much fun. Okay. Sounds to play to keep millennials at a party. Are you ready? Lil Wayne. Soldier Boy. And they just cracked me up. So the video, I'll put a link in the show notes to the actual video because the guy who did it did such a fantastic job. But he's just a regular dude and the cameras doesn't ever move. And he's walking to the door to leave and grabbing the door handle. And one of these songs starts and he's like, I got to get down to this. I mean, and he just starts dancing and that's all it is. Not a single word, just those couple of first little bars of that little piece of music. And you're like, oh no. I am ready to rage. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. Kind of a tangent here, a left turn. What are you most impatient about that used to not, that like past generations wouldn't be?
Oh, what do you mean?
Like, Mom, back in the day, if you ordered something from a catalog, how long did it take to get it?
A couple of weeks.
And now,
if it is not
I
here
order
in
something
the morning,
from Amazon, and if it's not here today, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to order it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, like, what are you the most impatient about?
Stuff online and free shipping for sure. I'm also that person. I have chased people in the neighborhood down to say, slow down. You're driving too fast. I'm going to go talk to his mama because this is unacceptable. That was 45 miles an hour down a residential street is unacceptable.
Well, then that's not you being impatient. That's just you turning into a boomer. But
well,
I was thinking the same thing, babe.
I think I'm with you. Like refreshing the UPS or the FedEx tracking. Like, when are you going to be here? When are you going to be here? When are you going to be here?
Yeah.
Like I ordered you 3 days ago. Where are you?
Yeah. I've got one that's lost right now. Ryan is completely convinced the world is over. It's lost. It's never going to get here. We should just order a new one. Like, oh my gosh, dude, calm down. It was supposed to be delivered yesterday.
And that does sound like your boy. But here's the thing. If you tell me you're going to deliver it on Thursday and you don't deliver it on Thursday, I'm pretty miffed.
So here's my funny story. Your dad ordered one of these, what do they call them? Slim, the things we drink out of.
Simple Modern.
Simple Modern. He wouldn't let me add mine to it. We were both going to order one, and he'd started his order, and it was going to be there, I think, that afternoon.
The next day.
And was it the next day?
And yours was 2 days.
I think I got mine the next day. Anyway, if we added mine to it, it was going to delay his shipment by less than 24 hours. And so he got all
cold water to drink, Mom,
over it. And then guess who didn't show up for a couple of days? And I mean, y'all,
and guess
he was just a little over about it.
I absolutely love that you just used that term.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
butthurt. Yeah, that's great.
He was. I mean, and I just sat there and laughed because I thought, this is what you deserve. Didn't want to have my order with your order.
I'm just telling you, if in high school 14 years ago, my friends had asked me, do you think your mom will ever use the term butthurt? I'd have told you, there is no way in hell. Absolutely not.
Oh, man.
That's interesting.
Okay, so Cole, you talked about things that we're impatient about, and I want to think we've kind of touched on this previously in a different episode, in a kind of a different fashion even, but I want to touch on response times. So we are so trained to, let me just send a text really quick. I'm not going to call. I'm just going to send a text really fast. And in my brain, it's like, okay, they'll get to it whenever they get to it. But also, if you don't have a response and you didn't answer me in the next few minutes, like, what are you even doing with all of your time? Why are you not responding to me? And so I think that tends to be one that gets many of us just that response time. Whereas I'm watching this show, they're sending letters in the 1880s, right? And they're like, hey, you need to come join us on the farm. And they're talking about how long those letters, it would have taken weeks and weeks and weeks to get to the recipient. And then the recipient has to reply. You're at a couple of months before you have one conversation. And now if I don't see your little 3 dots on my phone responding back, like, where even are you?
Yeah. I think I'm a kind of an outlier in that category because I approach that very differently. If I have something that's time sensitive, I'm going to call you.
So am I.
So you know that it's time sensitive and to call me back. If you don't answer the phone, you know that, hey, Cole tried to call you. He has something that he needs to talk to you about, like, right now. So call him back.
Yeah.
And I've stopped leaving voicemails. I used to leave a voicemail every time. And just like, why aren't you answering your phone? Call me back.
So you're just as impatient just via voicemail instead of text messages.
Well, I mean, that I would leave voicemails specifically for my friends because they hated the fact that I called them and would leave them voicemails. And I knew that they weren't going to check it, but I was going to leave them a voicemail so they had to see the notification anyways, just to mess with them. Yeah. But like if I send you a text message, that means whenever you can respond. Like I don't really care.
Yeah.
It's not time sensitive.
No, it isn't. But I'm still
So every time you call somebody, do you leave a voicemail?
No. Not anymore. I used to, not anymore.
And if you don't leave a voicemail, do you still expect them to call you back?
Yes.
Do you ever follow up not or leaving a voicemail or not with a text message?
No.
I'm going to hang up. I'm not leaving a voicemail
I
because
do
I'm not
for
listening.
You. I do for you sometimes, Mom, but like if I call one of my buddies to talk to them about something, they know that I expect them to call me back.
No, I was
and if they text me and say, what's up, they know that they're about to get a phone call.
Yeah.
So it better be like, I'm in a meeting, can't talk on the phone right now. Better be your response or you're getting another phone call.
Yeah. No, I was talking to somebody earlier this week and they were unhappy because people weren't leaving voicemail. Well, what am I supposed to do? We'll call them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for mine, it's instant knowledge, which is a pro and a con. But, you know, we passed a road sign and it was talking about Dwight Yoakam was going to be at WinStar. And I thought, God, how old is he? And I just thought, he's not that old, by the way, but I thought he was.
That old man. Watch it.
Yeah. But I mean, that's my entire day. And I don't know if that's because I have millennial children that I'm so clued into. If you say, well, what does well, I can
you
look
have
that
all
up.
of the knowledge of mankind at your fingertips.
Is right there. So why wait for that? I can figure out how old Dwight Yoakam is, or when did so-and-so die, or
now.
What does this mean? You know, there's no delay on information anymore. Now, along with that is if I'm having a conversation with you and you ask me something, I'm going to go, oh. And so my brain is not as connected to you because I'm looking something
You're
up.
wandering. Yeah.
I'm wandering.
Yeah. So one of the other things that I think is fascinating and kind of a weird shift, and maybe this is unique to me, but Cole, we grew up with commercials. I remember pre-TiVo when you weren't really recording television. It was just, hey, this is on. If you were really, really fancy, you might tape something. Grandmother and Papa had a thing where you could like
a library
schedule taping things.
Yeah.
But I also remember, especially when we were like home in the afternoons, it's like, hey, I'm going to watch this show, but I'm supposed to be emptying the dishwasher. So as soon as the commercial comes on, I'm going to race into the kitchen and empty as much of the dishwasher as I can. And like, how much can you get done in a commercial break?
And run back every 30 seconds to see if the commercial break is over?
Yeah. And so now I'm kind of missing those. I have started, like, I have stopped paying for like Hulu and things like that to have no commercials. Cole, I know you're against this, but I will keep the commercials because I'm like, oh, let me go refill my water really quick. Oh, let me go grab that thing out of the fridge. Oh, let me feed the dog really fast. I'll get it done in the next commercial break. I would never pause it.
Cole, that's what I'm impatient about is those commercials.
Oh, yeah, they drive me absolutely nuts. Because they're awful.
Well, that is true. I mean, I do think commercials are dumber now than they've ever been. Yeah, but that's, you know, I was thinking, and that's one of my impatience is that I just, because I've had that capability of not having them and now they're back and you're kind of like.
Well, and then I'm curious as to how you guys feel, especially when it comes to impatience. When you're watching a TV show, are you mad if it comes out weekly, episodically, or do you want them all dropped at the same time?
I'm not mad, but I'm going to probably try and wait to watch it until they're all out.
But that's
because I am like a serial binger. So like there's one that I'm watching right now that's coming out weekly, and every time I'll be like, it's been 2 weeks, so I'll get 2 episodes, and then I'll come back and I'm like, dang, it was only 1 week. There's only 1 episode.
Yeah. Yeah. We're kind of frustrated when it comes out every week. You're like, oh, I have to wait a whole nother week.
So are we more impatient today?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
God, yes.
Y'all want to think about that one?
For sure.
I mean, we're the generation of instant gratification. If it's not right here, right now, I don't want anything to do with it.
Well, and on top of that, there are so many things vying for our attention. Our attention spans are shot. I mean, the next thing, that 24-hour news cycle is now just a couple of hours. And you're just like, oh my goodness. Do you remember what it was like when it was weeks at a time?
There are things to be said that waiting can be beneficial.
Absolutely.
But that's not things. Fulfilling my need for constant stimulation right now. So why would I ever attempt to deal with that?
I mean, yeah.
I'm not saying that that's the right or the healthy way to go about it, but that is the result of
my brain.
Y'all are scary.
Yeah.
Y'all are scary.
I mean, or even like I check out books from the library using my Libby app and send them to my Kindle. If it's not ready right now, I'm just going to go to a different library And they're all digital. There are libraries I've never even set foot in. But
I'm just going to go buy it. Like,
Yeah, sure.
no.
I'm cheaper than you. I'm much more stingy with my money. I'm like, no. I can get it for free. It's going to cost me 6 weeks and I'll wait for the 6 weeks, but I'm annoyed about it.
Yeah, I'm not that. Would that be
He's
fickle
not that
or
patient.
no? What's
Frugal.
frugal? Thank you.
Yes.
I mean, but this instant gratification has,
Oh, for sure.
Sure.
It's awful.
Yeah.
it's awful, but you're not going to fix it.
I mean, I think that in
Why
general,
fix it when I can constantly have my need for stimulation satisfied?
there's a book that is on my to be read list right now called, maybe it's like the dopamine addiction. And it's
Okay.
talking
Yeah,
about that
100%.
instant gratification and the dopamine that we get from instant gratifications and buying things and things like that I'm really curious about.
It's like crack.
Yeah, and that's exactly
It's
what it is.
very much a drug.
Yes.
It is literally just a drug that your brain produces itself that
Yeah.
we have become addicted to.
Right. I think that that's one of the really negative downsides of technology. Mom has said it before. If you ask a question and we don't know the answer, I'm the first one to hop on and say, let me Google it. Let me check. And because it's all right there, I think that we've done ourselves and our brains a bit of a disservice by not giving them the space to wander and create and think things through. Well, this is the answer. That's what it is. Moving on.
Yeah.
And I think that that's part of time that I miss.
Yeah, I definitely think it has atrophied some of our mental capabilities because we don't have the ability to explore it before we find the answer.
Yeah.
I think that's certainly a logical conclusion there. I had something and now it is just completely gone.
Y'all saying that, and we've kind of been laughing because we've done some things. What is conservatism to you, or what is liberalism to you? And we've laughed at some of the answers, and we've gone, "Did you even listen to what?" But what you're telling me is, no, they didn't.
Yeah.
They just make a snap decision, and it's on
They
to the next
probably
thing.
didn't even watch the whole video.
No.
And it's costing us, y'all.
Which I think is really fascinating to think about it that way, how short our attention spans are. And yet we're also seeing this massive acceptance of these really long form conversations, like the ones we're having right now. Like,
Yeah.
you've got all of these podcasts that are like really long form that people are watching all of, but we're also interacting with people on the internet who not only are they not watching the full 90-second clip that we're posting to at least get that much context before leaving a comment, they are definitely not going back and watching the full hour to 2-hour episode to get the even wider context. They're just saying X is bad.
And that's
Y
the end.
is
Yeah.
evil. Everyone who thinks X is even a little bit acceptable is a bad guy or an idiot or stupid. And I mean, what? It's just such a weird kind of contradiction to see there.
Yeah, I think that it is. I was talking to somebody on one of our TikTok videos for the podcast from an episode recently, and they were like, there's so much more nuance to this. And I'm like, you're judging a 2-hour conversation based on 90 seconds that you've heard. Well, not everybody's going to go listen to the 2-hour conversation. I was like, you're right.
Okay.
But what do you expect me to do? Do you not want me to sit here and promote that we're talking about it and have conversations and be willing to have these conversations because your attention span is so short?
Non-existent.
Yeah. We did talk about maybe not all of the nuance, but a lot of the nuance. And if you would go and actually listen to the conversation, you would realize that. But you can't or you won't. And so now you're mad because you didn't take the time to understand that we realize there's nuance.
Yeah. And I straight up said, I was like, hey, we're trying to meet people where they are. And you have to recognize that this is a 90-second clip of an hour-and-a-half conversation.
Yeah. I can't go over all of the nuances around the Federal Reserve in 90 seconds.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
Right. And Cole, you can't go through all of the nuances of the Federal Reserve 90 minutes. How are you going to sit here and hold somebody accountable for my quick attention span that I didn't watch the full video, even the 90 seconds of? So
Yeah.
I was kind of confused by it. I was like, are you expecting us not to talk about anything because your attention span sucks?
Yes.
Yes. And I think had I asked it that boldly, I would have really upset them. But I'm just like,
Who cares? Let them be upset.
yeah. Yeah. Cole, I think that you're totally right. Mom and I have both been kind of hesitant about that time frame of podcasts as we're sitting here doing these. Oh, you guys, we're at over 2 hours for this one. This is a really long episode. And it doesn't mean that the conversation isn't worthy. It truly is a sign of us being frustrated with our own attention spans. I'm not going to sit down. Who's going to dedicate 2 hours to sitting here listening to us talk about nuance of this? Yeah. And that's the thing. We all are. We are all willing to do it. And so I think that in many ways, we're as a society very desperate for connection and communication and those long form podcasts, those long form situations and conversations. Just recently, the Taylor Swift episode on New Heights came out, and it was absolutely fantastic, but it also wasn't bam, 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 bam. Here's all this information. It was just a conversation. And as a Swiftie, you don't get that much insight into her and her going ons in life and all of this. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that they did this. And I'm so glad that she did it with people that care about her enough to give her. They didn't sit there and talk over her. They didn't sit there and interrupt her. They didn't sit here and put her on blast and question every single thing. This wasn't a media interview. This was a couple of friends sitting around having a conversation that we got let in on, and it was so much fun. And I think that we're just desperate for that kind of connection and communication. And I think that we're kind of babies about admitting that.
Yeah. I mean, I will regularly go watch a 4 to 6 hour podcast, and it may take me a day or two to get through it.
Yeah.
Like, that's not uncommon at all. And we sit here and we will doom scroll through 15 to 90 second clips all day long. But I also think it's really interesting to see how people are moving away from this kind of mass mainstream media news where it's just 5-minute segments of people screaming and yelling at each other, trying to talk over each other to try and make someone else on the panel look like this biggest loser. Yeah. And we are just entirely not interested because they gloss over any kind of nuance in that kind of format.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I find myself kind of hard pressed to sit there and read an entire article from whatever news source. But then Tangle sends out their daily newsletter that is a whole lot longer than any mainstream media article about one topic. And I am completely absorbed into it the entire time. I want to hear everything.
But even they say, this is a 13-minute read. This is a 15-minute read. They're letting you know right up front how long it's going to take, how much investment you're going to give to it.
Yeah. And I'm
going to say, as much as I like them, I struggle with taking that 15 minutes for that one topic to read.
Yeah. Because
I have a backup of theirs.
I want to do a good job reading it and absorbing it and not skimming it. And so I appreciate them saying, hey, this is a 13-minute read. Now, on the other side of that, I'm reading a book right now, and my Kindle in the bottom corner, it's like, you have 31 hours and 46 minutes left of this book, which is normal for Cole, but is not normal for me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've had to turn it off. I'm like, don't tell me how long is left. Because I had a whole conversation with myself in my head. I was like, Kelly, when you finish this book, whether you finish it in 2 hours or 16 hours or 31 hours, you're just going to pick up another book. Why not enjoy this one? It doesn't matter how long it takes.
What a great conversation to have with yourself, though.
I had to turn it off because I was daunting to me. I was like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
But the point is, like you said, you're going to pick up another book at the end of it.
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
Right.
We are
I found myself
programmed for
doing that
short-term.
more and more lately, like not finishing things that I really enjoy because I don't want them to be over and moving on to something else before I've gotten to the end.
Yeah. I said in several episodes ago now when we talked about TV. I have like 3 episodes of Friends left, the 1990s sitcom, whatever it was, that I refuse to finish in season 10 because I don't want it to be over. And I think about it every week. Callie, you only have 3 left, but I don't want to finish them. I don't want to know. I'm not ready for that.
So weird how we think about that.
It is. It's so weird. So I'm gonna kind of jump into a little bit different topic when we're sitting here talking about the time warp that is 2025 in our brains. Can we fix it? Can we change it? Can we reset our internal clocks to do a better job and not be incredibly anxious, frustrated by something taking so long, invest our time into things that are important to us?
I'm going to go with a hard maybe. And yeah, I think sort of is probably a better answer. I do think that as a society, we're starting to realize the detriment of a lot of this stuff. And so a lot like politics, I think it's a bit of a pendulum swing where we have this massive widespread adoption of certain technologies, certain services that we're utilizing. And then that thing is the only good, that's the best thing that ever could happen. And then we realize that, okay, maybe we can have too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
And then so we have to figure that out over a course of time. And we have to really eat those mistakes and eat the injuries, the harm that causes, like social media, for example. Like you've seen a lot of people start to move away from that to a certain degree, or to limit their exposure to that to a certain degree because of how detrimental only being on Facebook could be. Like if your whole life is just on Facebook or Twitter or whatever it is, like that's really unhealthy. And so you're seeing people like doing social media cleanses or social media fasts, which I mean, I think is good because those things can be really useful and important in moderation, but we have to figure out what that moderation is. And very much like a detox, like you have to, your brain is addicted to that interaction. It's addicted to that dopamine hit of what's the next one? What's the next thing that's going to make me laugh? What's the next thing that's going to enrage me? What's the next thing that is going to enthrall me? What's the next thing that I'm going to be super interested in? And that's a hard thing to come down from.
You got to detox from it.
Yeah.
I think that that's part of it. But, again, kind of going back to that Taylor Swift conversation on New Heights, she had a comment that she was like, that the way that she's looking at social media and or not, like she's like, my comments have been off for 10 years and it's one of the best things I've ever done. But she says something, she goes, that has completely bled into the way that I metabolize things. You need to be thinking of your energy as expensive. It's a luxury item. Not everybody can afford it. And I think that has something
100%.
that we all kind of took away from that interview going, why didn't we think of that?
Why? I've been saying that though, like it's not worth your energy to interact with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. And I'm not even saying that you're not saying it. I'm saying that it took me a really long time to hear it.
When you talk about it being expending your energy, the way she said it was just
think of your energy as expensive. It's a luxury item. Your energy. Not everyone can afford it.
That goes back to what you just said about how you had to have a conversation with yourself to say, why do I need to rush through this?
Yeah.
Why does it matter? Because I'm just going to pick up I think this is part of it is coming to the realization and admitting to yourself, recognizing that you have a problem, and then deciding what you're going to do, to address that problem. And that may be limiting your social media. That may be staying off your phone. That may be turning off your DMs.
You can't afford me.
Yeah. Maybe we need to take the AA 12-step program and set it up for a social media detox and stepping away to get sober from social media.
Yeah.
I'm going to admit that I have a
I
problem.
do know
I'm going
people
to
who
address it.
don't do social media.
Yeah.
And they're probably better for it.
Yeah.
Better off for
Absolutely.
it, at least.
Yes.
Now, again, you can use social media as a tool if you continue to view it as a tool. But
It's not a lifestyle.
You can use painkillers as a tool. But once you have gotten to the point where you are no longer using painkillers as a tool and it is now a hobby or an addiction,
An abuse
it's
of.
an abuse of, it's really hard to go back and use them as a tool again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we could do a better job independently of setting better routines for ourselves. I'm not talking about toxic productivity. I'm talking about being realistic. For example, we record this podcast on the weekends. Then by Wednesday, I have the first edit done. And by Thursday, one of you has gone through the transcript for any additional edits. And then it publishes on Friday. It's that way every single week. And because it's not strangling me for time, but I still have those kind of milestones of accountability saying, I got to get that done. I need to work this into my schedule. This is a priority for me. You need to make it happen.
Yeah.
And so I think that we can set looser, more time lax routines for ourselves that keep us accountable while also keeping us open for wandering.
I think that comes down to that time management and some of those skills that you set up there, whether that's time blocking or,
utilizing
focusing.
tools. Hey, I'm going to have AI do this part of it. Hey, can you real quick, AI, ChatGPT, go in and figure out where we cursed in this podcast so I know where to go look, whatever it may be. We don't do that. And if you've ever listened to this podcast, you're aware of that. But still, my point is the same. I mean, but
better.
also it gives us an opportunity to detox and metabolize the information without it being overwhelmed.
I'm just going to say this because you and I just recently did a deal where I think you started it and I thought, oh, that's a good plan, where we decided that we were cursing too much. We were saying too much. And so we set our timers to see how long between curse words. And when we first started, it was like, we were pretty excited if we got to 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then the longer that we went and we appreciated that. And my goal was 100 hours to go 100 hours. And when I got to that, I thought, okay. And I literally felt like I had pushed something out of my system, detoxed, become real aware of it. And it was so funny because we both changed word. We would catch ourselves in the moment, in the sentence, and change that word
consciously.
Yeah. And I think that was part of it.
Yeah. My whole thing and reason for doing that wasn't because I wanted to hit a certain goal. And I'm not saying that that's bad, but in my brain, I felt like it was out of control. I couldn't say, okay, I'm going to use and drop that F-bomb here or talk about how something's bullshit over here. It just happened. It just went. And it was out of my mouth before I could recognize it. And so that was my goal. I want to be in control of it. I want to be conscious enough about the words that I'm saying. I want to take enough time to be conscious to say, yes, I think that was bullshit. And that's fine. And so there were certainly several moments where, and it was really funny. Gosh, you guys, we're going to have to bleep this whole section now, but it was really funny. Like one of us would be sitting there and be like, oh, and I fell on my ass again. Reset your timer. And, well, son of a bitch. And you immediately send out all of these expletives because you're pissed off that you're cursing in the first place and you're trying so hard not to. But it also made us recalculate just our brains for saying, hey, calm down.
Yeah.
Chill out.
Yeah. And I think we can do that with time.
Yeah. I agree.
But it's going to take a conscious effort.
And
Maybe it is
that's what the
setting
timer
a timer.
was. It was really goofy and really dorky. And if anybody got a screenshot from me in that period of time where we were doing it, they're like, what's 17 hours? I'm like, I'm doing really good. Don't piss me off. It just was
Yeah.
funny. But it again, kind of like you said, it was a way for us to reclaim our vocabulary, our mouths.
A consciousness of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it can be done. I think we can grab hold of our time, fix our time, but I think it's going to take a great deal of effort every single day. And you're going to have to find something that works for you. If that's the timer on your watch, then use the timer on your watch. If that's, putting something on your calendar and saying, this is what we're going to do this time. But, I'm going to say this too. I find myself, we're so used to being busy that when I end up with a day that I don't have a full list of things to do, I'm kind of lost.
It drives me nuts. I was just about to bring this up. You and Dad are both this way, and I'm the complete opposite. I probably overdo this. When's the last time either one of you took a day to just do nothing?
Oh gosh. Well, your dad yesterday.
No,
he's retired. He's earned it.
No, but even Dad, being retired, like, he's going to get up and go do something.
Yeah.
He's going to go fishing.
He cannot sit still.
He cannot sit still. Like, he's going to go find some project to work on.
Yeah.
He has to find something to do. I mean, I like idle hands. I get it. But still, sometimes I just need to do nothing.
Right. How
Like, tomorrow, I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah.
I might get up early and go to the range.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm not going to do anything tomorrow.
Yeah. Ryan always says, Callie, you have no rest in your ass. And I think that I have heard him say that because he wants to be still. And we have worked really hard at saying, hey, we're not going to make plans to go that. We're not going to go to that party. We're not going to go to that event. We're not going to do this because we're going to do nothing. And we're going to like it. And I think that those days, hours, moments are very restorative. The rest
You mean
of it.
say no to something?
Yeah, I do. Well, and I think
I love saying no to stuff. It's
yeah.
great.
Yeah. I think though, Cole was talking about something a minute ago and I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think that hindsight really is 2020. You were talking about the pendulum and how we have kind of got to go back and forth. But I think that you're right. We have to look back. We have to actually choose to look back and say, hey, this was an issue. I want to work to address it. And you don't need that instant gratification of having it addressed immediately. I'm going to set my timer and work on this for a couple of hours. I'm going to be cognizant of how I'm speaking, whatever that is. And I think that the more, this sounds so goofy, Mom's talking about us setting our timers for cursing, the more that I watched that timer or just had it up on my phone going, the more I appreciated that time and I valued that time, because I do believe that when you're present, time expands. When you're actively sitting here, you're not lost in whatever on social media. You're just enjoying where you are right there. And that's enough. And I think that as I was sitting there kind of keeping an eye on my timer, and it made me really value those 17 hours, those 17 minutes on occasion. I did a really good job. I did a really good job for however long. I'm proud of me for that. You know what I mean? And so it was just an opportunity to allow myself to be present right then.
Well, and I think the other side of that is that you're hiding from something.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to have those moments, if you've got to just be in that constant whirl, there's something going on that you don't want to face, that you don't want to deal with.
Yeah.
And that's not healthy. And so you have to come to a point where you look at that and face it.
Come up for air.
Come up for air.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I
We
think
talk
that-
about digital Sabbaths, but I think there's more to it than just the digital part. I think sometimes you just need to
shut your
breathe.
brain off. Allow your body, your whole body, not just your thumbs or your eyeballs, to rest.
And I'm not great at it.
Me neither.
I feel like I'm not doing, if I'm not doing something, then something's wrong. And
Well, I mean,
Cole,
it's
you're
because
right.
it's
It's
so
really hard
different.
to do what?
It's so different than
Your norm.
it's something that we've gotten acclimated to. I think I sent this to you guys a few months ago, but it was a meme, and it's like a text message of like, "Hey, are you okay?" And it's like, well, I mean, I'm constantly being bombarded 24 hours a day with a massive influx of information that 20 years ago would have not been available to anyone. But yeah, I mean, I'm hanging in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sky is falling all of the time.
Yeah.
And being aware of the sky falling doesn't stop it.
No.
But
Well, wasn't that lovely?
yeah. I mean, I think you guys, I really truly believe like this is what I so value in this podcast, doing this with you guys, sitting here and we're laughing along the way and having a good time. But it also really requires me to slow down, to think about what I'm saying, to think about what's in my head. And I just appreciate that. Thank you both.
Weird thought.
Yes. So, Cole, you and I had a conversation here a few months ago that I wanted to kind of bring back up. You know why time feels like it, we've talked about it. Time feels like it speeds up as we get older. When you're a baby, your life doubles routinely. This is a 1-day-old baby. Now this is a 2-day-old baby. This is a 1-month-old. Now she's 3 months old. All of that feels so exponential to the rest of us who can absorb that amount of time. I don't know where I was.
I mean, just to kind of pick up on what you're saying there, every day is a smaller and smaller and smaller percentage of your
Yes.
life. So 10 years ago, 1% of my life would have been a month. Now 1% of my life is a week.
Mm-hmm.
In 20 years, 1% of my life, I got that backwards, I think. But so 1% of my life becomes a larger and larger and larger portion of actual kind of like
Time.
units of time.
Yeah.
Because like you said, the first day that you're alive, it only takes one day to double your entire existence, your entire experience.
Yeah.
And then it takes 2 days after that. And then it takes a week. And then it takes 2 weeks. Well, now, in order for me to double, to experience everything that I have experienced that same amount of time, now it takes me 32 years
Yeah.
to double my amount of experience.
Yeah.
So like that kind of relativity of your perception of time every day seems shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter because it's getting to be a smaller chunk of your life every
Well,
day.
And it's not that time actually moves any faster. It's that every single increment of that time feels smaller compared to everything else that you've already lived. You know, when we were kids, summers, a 3-month summer off of school was forever. Now we blink and we're like, holy shit, how is it fall? We just got started.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you take half a glass of water and then you fill it the rest of the way up, percentage wise, that's a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
But if you now take that full glass of water and you dump it in a pool,
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
Now you can take that pool and you can dump that pool in a lake and it doesn't even change the water level.
Yeah.
You
Piss
take
in
that
the
lake
ocean.
and dump it in the ocean and it's just a drop in the bucket.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that kind of that was the weird thought, is just to encourage you to slow down, take stock of what is really important and really put a concerted effort into prioritizing the things that are important to you. And that nobody gets to decide what that is but you. Value it, cherish it. Think of your time and your energy as expensive.
Expensive. So, Cole, tell me about Matilda.
Okay, so our good news story this week is about Matilda the tortoise. So there was a family in England who had lost their tortoise Matilda. She's been missing for about a month, and they ended up finding her. It was kind of interesting. Some kids found her at a field and took her to a local clothing store who made a Facebook post about it. And eventually, well, really within a few hours, the owner had seen it. They were really worried that they were never going to see Matilda again, but they've been reunited. And I just thought it was kind of a pertinent story talking about the relationship to time and speed and how fast things are going, and how maybe we need to take a page out of Matilda's book, because she apparently climbed zucchini plant to get out of her raised garden that she was kept in during the day so that she could escape. And they found her a month later, about 3 miles away. She's a 10-year-old tortoise whose kind of top speed is 0.004 miles per hour. And we all know tortoises live for a really long time, and we've all heard the story of the tortoise and the hare, and, slow and steady sometimes wins the race. So I think Matilda is a great example. We're happy that she made it back home and has been reunited with her family and is okay. But I think she's a great example of sometimes you can slow down and it can still be an adventure.
Yeah.
I guess, and keep her away from the zucchini stalks.
Yeah.
Maybe she's a vegetarian. You don't know.
Maybe. All right. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Love y'all.